Hi, my name is Sophia and welcome to the first workshop of 4 where I'll be showing you how I paint with gouache, doing some seasonal illustration spreads. Throughout these workshops, I'll be talking through some different gouache related topics and giving you some tips that will help you with your gouache painting. The materials I'll be using are the Maimeri Gouache tubes, and I'll mainly be mixing my own colours using cyan, yellow and magenta with white and Prussian blue to get darker or lighter values, but every so often I will add an already mixed colour to the palette. It's not necessary to do this, but some colours I find I prefer already mixed as they can be more punchier and you can find some fun variations. I also have 2 jars of water to keep my brushes nice and clean, my Princeton Velvetouch brushes, which I love for gouache painting and I've used them ever since I began my painting journey, as well as my Strathmore mixed media journal with the vellum surface, which is not rough but not completely smooth. It has a little bit of tooth. I start by sketching out a rough outline of my illustrations using a colour pencil, and I've provided a photo of the outlines that I've drawn in the class materials so you can sketch them with ease. My process with gouache to get the final vibrant and opaque effect that I so love is by layering, and to layer with gouache you have to start with watery and thin layers. So starting by mixing a watery orange and a little bit of yellow and magenta with white, I cover one side of the pot, and to add dimension I make the other side a bit darker. So I darken the colours using Prussian Blue, and I find that making shadows or darker values with Prussian Blue instead of black keeps my colours looking really vibrant and less muddy. As I wait for that first watery layer to dry, I move on to the cactus and do the same process, mixing some yellow and cyan and Prussian and creating a watery green. I cover the whole plant and then mix a bit more Prussian to create a darker green, which I'll put for the shadows. And lastly, in this first layer is the bright pink flowers, which I use a bit of magenta and white. This first layer is very flat, a little bit messy. It's just for mapping out the dimension of everything and kind of showing me where the colours go and where I'm going to build on. So I use this layer and I call this layer the mapping layer. So once this first layer is fully dry, and I really recommend you wait for it to be completely dry because it helps with not disturbing the paint underneath, I start to build the second layer, and for this I want the paint to be thicker consistency with less water. So to change that ratio of water to paint, I need to add more paint to the mixture, using the colour that I've already mixed on the palette, but adding in some more white, magenta and yellow to create that orange, that lighter orange, and then adding a bit of Prussian blue to get the darker brown for the darker side, the side that's shaded. You can really see that the paint has a lot less water than the previous layer, and I get this question a lot of how do you not disturb the layers beneath, and if you control the water content on your paintbrush you'll find that it's really hard to actually disturb the layers underneath, but you have to just make sure that you're on the drier side and the paint becomes thicker with each layer that you build. Here I'm making the darker shade of brown with Prussian Blue for the shadows, and you can see I keep building and kind of blending on the page between the wet paint to create that gradient from light to dark on the ceramic, and I really love the brush strokes that come through that you can see. Gouache colour shifts when it dries, so the dark colours become lighter and the light colours become darker. So as I build the layers and they dry, I see where I need to go lighter and darker, and I always say that this is the dance with gouache. You rarely can lay down the perfect colour and it just stays like that, because as you lay other colours down you see and you compare and you're able to understand, okay, what needs to be darkened, what needs to be lightened. It's really hard to be prescriptive and give step by step with painting with gouache, because I think you're better off learning how to build an intuition and understanding what guides your painting process versus thinking or following a step-by-step guide, because it's just never perfect. I would say also don't worry if the colours you're mixing are not the exact tones that you're seeing me mix here, or if, say, you're doing your own illustration and you're copying from a reference photo that you're using, don't worry if the colours aren't the perfect mix. I think too much emphasis is placed on colour mixing, and actually just understanding the values, so what's light and what's dark, is going to help you create that dimension and that vibrancy of the illustration versus actually doing like focusing too much on the perfect color choice. Here I've mixed yellow with white to add some highlights where the sun is hitting the pot. And as the colour is drying, I realise I need to darken some of those shadows, so I add more Prussian Blue and Magenta to the mix. For the cactus itself, I'm doing the same. I'm mixing up a dark green that is thicker in consistency, so using my already mixed green and adding in more Prussian Blue and just playing around with it until I get that perfect shade that I want. And the key here is to make sure you have a good contrast between light and shadow to show the parts of the cactus that are in shadow with slightly more mid-tone greens, so not as dark. I'm adding in more yellow and I'm adding more dimension to the cactus. So instead of just having two shades like the dark green and light green, I'm now having a more mid-tone green, so that adds dimension to the whole thing. With a very light yellow, I'm adding some tiny dots, which is where the cactus needles come out from. And little details like this always make the illustration pop even more. As that dries, I move to the flowers where I mix a dark pink by adding Prussian Blue to my pink mix and tiny strokes to create shadows and illusions of petals. And then to lighten the pink for the highlights, I add white to the mix. This kind of three-tone range, so the mid-tone pink, the dark pink, and then the light pink, really helps add dimension and makes the illusion of these flowers being really dimensional and popping off the page. Now that my cactus has dried, I realize I need to darken some areas, so I go in with an even darker green, mixing in more Prussian Blue to my green, and add depth to the cactus with little strokes of paint. And I then finish off with the needle details, making them brownish for the ones that are showing on the outside and then whitish for the ones you see inside the cactus so that they stand out. And here is the cactus finished, and remember that your colours may look a bit different, but if you follow the principles of getting the light and dark values right, it will look just as pretty and vibrant and dimensional. Now onto the watermelon slice. I'm using orange and scarlet along with the primaries, and I'm doing this to get the really vibrant and intense colour of the watermelon, and pre-mixed colours sometimes are helpful in keeping that vibrancy. So with the same initial step of laying down that first watery layer, I start with a mix of the scarlet, orange and magenta. Towards the rind of the watermelon, I lay down some white to create a bit of a gradient. And right before we get to the rind of the watermelon, there's a really pale yellowish green. And then a little bit of dark green from the skin is poking through. Now I do use a pre-mixed black for the seeds, as the seeds are really black, so it's really easier to use a pre-mixed black. And this is one of the rare times that I do use black and gouache, because as I mentioned, I find that when I mix with it, it can dull my colours a bit, and I love the look of more vibrant gouache. I really think it's a personal preference though. I like the tones I get when I mix Prussian Blue to get deeper shades, but of course you can use black and get a whole different colour palette and vibe. It really is a personal preference thing. With the darker red that I've mixed, I'm adding depth to the watermelon, and I'm using a bit of water on my brush to blend it with the paint that is already on the page. And that's the beauty of gouache, it reactivates with water, so you can do some blending on the page, which I know can be frustrating sometimes because you don't want to reactivate the paint beneath it, but I find it to be its superpower because you can do some really cool blending and kind of go over mistakes if you need to. I really like the fact that traditional gouache reactivates with water. As a finishing touch, I add white highlights to the watermelon and to the seeds as well. Now on to our last summer illustration, which is a shell, and I'm making this one pink to stay in the accidental theme of pink tones in our illustrations on this page. But this pink is going to have a bit more yellow in it, which makes it slightly more orangey, creamy. I'm mixing up the three colours to start, so the pale orangey pink, and then a pink, like a more mid-tone pink, and then a darker burgundy. Remember, you don't need to have the exact same colours, but you do want to try and get the range of light to dark. I start my first wash in that light tone, and before it dries, I add some pink in stripes to create the detail of the shell. This is going to be my first messy layer to map out, and it's okay if the colours bleed and it looks a bit messy. Remember, your first layer, you don't really see it at all as you keep building. I then go in with the burgundy, and you can see that the paint underneath has fully dried now, as it is not bleeding, but I also keep my brush quite dry. So remember that trick to not disturb the paint underneath. I start to add detail, so more stripes and texture. And I've provided a link with references I was inspired by for these spreads, and you can see I've got some different shells in that link, but you can be creative with it and you don't have to follow the exact patterns I'm putting down in the shell. Look at other shells for inspiration and do your own thing as well. I'll talk more about how I use references in one of the other workshops that I'll be doing. Then I go in with white to start picking out some of the highlights on the shell. I also put in little etching and patterns in white, and I go back and forth with the darker colour too to add more detail. This is the dance with gouache that I was referring to earlier. And as it dries, I realise I want even more contrast and darker detail, so I add a bit more of that Prussian blue to my burgundy mix. And you'll notice how having more contrast actually makes the colours pop even more and appear more vibrant. And here are the 3 summer illustrations finished. In the next workshop, we'll be doing 4 illustrations, and I'll be sharing even more tips on layering gouache for depth and dimension. See you in the next one.